Hello and welcome to the Virtual IT Learning. In this video, we will have a walkthrough of downloading and installing VM VirtualBox, and inside the VirtualBox, we will install and run the VM Linux on a Windows 10 computer. VM VirtualBox and Linux are open source software and available for free. Following are few details about this video, let's get started. Type VM VirtualBox in Google search window. It will show the VM VirtualBox option to select. From the search result, click on Oracle VM VirtualBox option. From the VirtualBox download page, click on Download VirtualBox. The next option to select is the platform. Since we are going to install the VM on a Windows computer, so click on Windows Host. This will start the download process. Once the download is complete, access the downloaded file from Windows downloaded folder. Double click on it to start the installation. Click on Next button and leave the options as is on the next screen. Leave all options as is. You can choose to create shortcuts or uncheck the options which is not required. Click on Next and wait for the installation to complete. The installation is complete. Click on Finish to finish the installation. Once the installation is complete, it will create a VM VirtualBox icon on the desktop. Double click on it to start the VM VirtualBox. This is the main page of VM VirtualBox. On this page, we will need to import the Linux VM OVA file, which we have already downloaded from Oracle. Oracle Linux is also available for free. To start the import process, click on File and select Import Appliance. Browse through the OVA VM file and click on Open. Click on Next and click on Import. The import process will take a few minutes to complete. Once the import is complete, click on Start button to start the machine. This will start the Linux machine and show the login page. The machine is now starting up. This is the login page. On the login page, log into the Linux session using Oracle's default password. Enter Oracle password. After logging into the Linux session, you will see the desktop screen. The first time you log into the session, it may show a dialog box to switch to the full screen mode in VirtualBox. If you want to switch to the full screen mode, press Ctrl key on the right side of the keyboard and F simultaneously to enter into and exit from full screen mode. On the Linux desktop screen, you can now start the Linux session. To start the Linux session, right-click on desktop screen and select an Open Terminal. This is the Linux terminal window. In the Linux terminal window, you can increase or decrease the font size of Linux session. To increase the font size, press Ctrl, Shift and plus, a combination of 3 keys like this. And to decrease the font size of Linux session, press Ctrl and minus, a combination of both keys. At this point, we will close the Linux session or terminal window. To close the terminal window, type exit at command prompt. And to shut down the Linux VM machine, select File and Close option. This will shut down the VM machine and bring you back to the VirtualBox window. In the next lesson, we will get started with Linux learning. Thank you. In this video, we will have a walkthrough of Linux basic commands to gather Linux disk space information. Following are a few details about this video. Let's get started. We use df command, which stands for disk free, and du command, which stands for disk usage, to return Linux disk space information. These commands show the disk's usage information about all the mounted file systems and at files or directories level. The df command, which stands for disk free, is used to display the available disk space information about file system and all the mounted disks where the user has read access. As shown in the picture, df command returns total disk space, used and available space, uses percentage, and what partition the disk is mounted on, as well as the disk space information of each file system. The default return size is in KB or kilobytes. There are various parameters that can be used with df command to customize the output format. Df command also displays how much space is utilized on the current mount, the second command shown in the picture. The du command stands for disk usage, is helpful in returning the size of a specific directory or subdirectories. It displays the file or directory space usage as shown in the picture. The difference between du and df commands is that df command displays the information at file system level and also displays how much space is utilized on the file system as a whole, while du command displays space information at files or directories level or for specific files or directories. Let's have a walkthrough of using both commands in Linux. Using the df command without any parameter or with k parameter will display all the file system, mount points, and their disk usage in 1024 bytes mode. We can also add the other parameter to display the file size in specific format like MBs or GBs. For example, to display the size in human readable format in MBs or GBs, use -h option. It will display all file systems and their disk usage in human readable format. Notice the difference in size column. When we don't mention any file system, it displays the space available on all currently available file systems. We can add the specific file system with this command. For example, we can add this particular directory to determine the amount of disk space available in this file system. It is now returning the disk space information for this particular file system. We can use a dot with df command to display a total disk space of current mount in default KB format. This is now returning the total disk space information of the current file system. For example, if we make this directory as current directory and then run the df command, it will show the disk information of the current file system. We can display the same in MBs format. It is showing the all the disk size information in MBs. Do the same in human readable like in MBs and GBs. We can use this command in both ways, like we can add -h and then add dot, or we can just add the -h at the end. So both commands will return the same output. If we want to show only a specific range of characters, then we can add cut command to cut by characters. For example, to display only characters starting from size to end, we can provide the range of characters using cut with C option. This will display only a specific range of characters, like only this specific area. Use cut command with C option, characters starting from 17 to 60. Now see the difference? It displays only this specific range of characters. We can do this in a different way, like this. Like for example, we want to get the same output for this particular directory. So we use df and then we will use grep command to grep this particular directory. Cut C 17 and 16. In this case, we want to extend the range of characters to maybe 80. So now see, it is displaying range of characters for this particular directory only. Now we will have a walkthrough of du command. Du command shows the amount of disk space used by the specified files and subdirectories. When we use du command without any arguments, it returns the disk space usage for the current directory in default 1024 bytes format, which can be customized using additional arguments. We are in the root directory right now, so it is displaying us a big output. If, for example, we want to check, let's check the current directories. We want to go to this directory and then check the disk usage information under this directory only. Same as df command, we can use other options to display the output in human readable format, like M for MBs and use H for human readable MBs and GBs. Now we can use -s and h parameters together to return the summary of space in directories in MBs or GBs or in human readable format, like this. Add static at the end. Now it will display all the files and directories with their space usage. So in this case, we can see this particular directory is taking up 4.2 GB space. If we want to add the grand total of this summary, we can add C parameter. It will show the grand total of this summary. If we want to return the summary information in human readable format in ascending order, we can use sort command with du command. We can add the sort command using a pipe symbol. Now see the difference. It is now sorting the result. We can add our argument to display the same in reverse order. Notice the difference. We can also add the directory name to return the space information or usage of a specific directory. Like in this case, if we want to check the disk usage of this particular directory, then we can do this using du space sh and then add the directory name. So it is showing us that this particular directory is taking up 4.2 GB space. This is the way how we can check like which directory our files are taking up huge space. Now if you want to extend the result set to show all the files and subdirectories under logs directories, we can do like this. Just add /n*. It will show us all the files and subdirectories under logs directories with their disk usage. Now in this case, we know that this specific directory is taking up the space, 4.2 GB space. We can go to this directory and now we can check which directory is taking up space under this subdirectory. So in this case, this is a specific directory which we need to check like what file or the further subdirectories are taking up space. Let's have an example where we are running out of disk space and then we have found out that one of the directory is taking up space like this, and then we will end up clearing up space from this particular directory. So I'm going to have another walkthrough from scratch. I'm going to on root directory, clearing this screen. Like, let's first check how much space we have. So for example, we are running out of space. We do have 34%, but let's assume we are running out of space here. So how do we check the space? I will run the du command on the root directory. So this picture is showing me that this particular directory is taking up 4.2 GB space, and we do have some space usage under this directory as well. So let's jump to this directory and now do the same. Now it is giving us another picture like the logs directory under this directory is taking up some space. I will go to logs directory I will do the same thing again. We have got to the satellite directory, which is taking up space here. Now at this point I can figure out which directories or files can be deleted in order to free up some space. So once we free up some space, we should see the space usage here under the current file system. So in this case I'm going to remove the directory named 1, and let's see how it improves the disk usage. I will use rm-r, and it should remove the entire directory including its subdirectories. Let's run the disk usage again. Now see the difference. The usage went down and the available space went up. If we go back to 2 levels up and then run the same commands again, now see the difference in use space for the same directory.
In this video, we will learn the basic Linux commands to gather system information about Linux CPU, memory, Linux processes, Linux server, and user information. Let's get started. We will start with displaying the Linux server information. To return the Linux server information, we can use uptime command, which displays the current time for how long the Linux server is up, number of users, and the CPU load average over the past 1, 5, and 15 minutes. To find out the user shell name, we can use the command ps-p like this. Okay, in this case it is returning the bash as user current shell. If you want to return only the last line, we can just add tail -1 and it will return only the last line. If we want to return only the last column, which is bash in this case, we can just use awk command. With column position. In this case, it is returning only the last column, which is bash in this case. When we use awk command, we just need to pass on the column position or the column number. To display all the system information, kernel version, and the system architecture, we use uname-a command. We can also use cat proc version to display the similar information. The proc file system is a virtual file system of the Linux system, which contains information about system resources or runtime system information, for example, system memory, CPU information, and hardware configuration, etc. To find out the information about Linux CPU, we can use the cat proc and CPU info. Now, if you want to return only a specific piece of information, like for example the model name, we can add grep command. So it will return only the model name. We can also use ls-cpu command, which can be used to get the CPU architecture information. It will return pretty much the same information. Next is to display the memory information. To display the memory information, we can use free command. Free command without any parameters uses the default KB format. We can add other parameters like M for megabytes, G for gigabytes, and we can also add T parameter to get the total of physical plus swap memory like this. We can also return the memory information from proc file system using the cat proc memory info.
same way, if you want to return only a specific piece information, we can add the grep command. For example, if you want to return only the memory total, we can add I to ignore the case. It will return only the memory total. Same way, if you want to get only the swap total, we can just add swap total. Now we will see how to return the virtual memory statistics. To return the virtual memory statistics, we can use vmstat, which will display the virtual memory statistics. It returns the processes waiting to run, CPU usage stats, paging, false, and memory stats. We can add one, which will display the stats with 1 second interval. To stop, just press Ctrl C. It will stop the command. Now we will see how to display the user information. To display the user information and see all user limits and current settings, we use ulimit-a command. So now we can see the current user has a limit of open files of 124, and same way the current user has maximum number of processes, which can be of this number. If you want to see only the file limits, we can just add f, which is unlimited in this case. To display the list of users currently logged in, you can use the w command. You can also use the who or who command, which shows the list of currently logged in users. And if you want to see the number of users currently logged on, we can just add pipe symbol wc nl. It will show us how many users are currently logged in. We can also use whoami command to return the current user name. The next is to discuss the top command. The top command provides a dynamic real-time view of the running system. It displays system summary information as well as a list of currently running processes and the percentage of CPU and memory usage. In the output of the top command, the first few horizontal lines are showing summary about different system parameters like uptime and load averages. The uptime here is similar to the uptime command. The fields display include the time your system is been up, the number of users logged in, load average of 5, 10, and 15 minutes respectively. The second line shows summary of tasks or processes in different states and total number of the processes, like the processes running, sleeping, stopped. Next is the CPU state, showing the average of CPU time in different modes like user, system, NICE, idle, IO wait time, CPU time serving hardware interrupts, and CPU time serving software interrupts, etc. Next two lines show memory usage. The output is similar to free command. The first line shows the physical memory and the second line shows the virtual or swap memory. The physical memory is displayed as total available memory, used memory, free memory, and memory used for buffers. And same way, swap shows all the same details. Let's discuss about fields or columns in this output. The processes are shown in columns. Different columns represent different properties, like the PID column, which uniquely identifies a process. The user column shows the owner of the processes. The PR column shows the scheduling property of the process. Some values in this field are RT, which means that the process is running under the real time. Next column is NI, which displays the NICE value of the process. Loud values are a negative NICE value means higher priority and a positive value means lower priority. Next is VIRT column, which shows the amount of virtual memory used by the process. RES shows the resident memory size. Resident memory is the amount of non-swapped or physical memory a task is using. S column shows the process status. The values under this column may contain R, which represents the running process, and S, which represents the sleeping process. The CPU column shows the percentage of CPU time the task has used since last update. Memory column shows the percentage of available physical memory used by the process. Time plus column shows the total CPU time the task has used since it started. And finally, the command column shows the command which was used to start the process. Now we will discuss some useful interactive commands that we can use with the top command. You can use space or enter key to immediately refresh the display. The default refresh interval is 3 seconds. Now we are pressing space key, which will immediately refresh the top command output. Same way, we can press enter. It will immediately refresh the result set. We can also sort the result set. You can press capital M to sort by memory usage. It will show the processes using the highest memory. Same way, to sort the result set by CPU usage, press capital P. Now it is sorting the result by CPU usage. To display a specific user process, you can use P option with the process ID, which will display the specific user process details. For example, if you pick up a PID for top command to show the details only for a particular process ID, then we can use like this. First pick up the process ID, then use top command with P option and paste the process ID. Now it is showing only details only for that particular process ID. If you want to show the absolute path of the processes, you can press C, which will display the absolute path of the running processes. You can also change the screen refresh interval in top by pressing the screen refresh interval. By default, screen refresh interval is 3 seconds. You can use D option in running top command and change it as desired. Or you can also use this option at command prompt when using the top command. Like when top command is running, you can just press D. It will ask you the interval. You can provide 1. Now it will refresh with 1 second interval. Same way, you can provide 2. So this is now 2 seconds interval. We can also add the interval option on command prompt. Now it is refreshing the result set with 1 second interval. To highlight the running processes in top, you can press Z while the top command is running, which will display the running processes in color. This can be helpful in identifying the running processes easily. By pressing Z again, it will bring the color back to default. You can also terminate the running process using K option while the top command is running, which will terminate a process without exiting from top command. Like in this case, we can identify the top command itself and we can try to stop this command. Press K. You will be prompted for the process ID and the signal to send to it. Press enter. And it has terminated the top command itself because we provided the PID of the top command. To quit from the top command, simply press Q key and it will exit from the top command. In this video, we will learn about Linux file and folder permissions. Following are a few topics that we will discuss. That includes type of permissions on files and folders and difference between users, group and other permissions, methods available to assign and change permissions using both numeric or octal mode and using letters, and finally we will discuss how to change the ownership for files and folders in Linux Unix operating systems. We will begin with ls command that is used to list the files and folders including their permissions in Linux and Unix operating systems. There are various parameters that you can use with ls command. For example, L parameter is used to display the long format, file types,
permissions, owner, group, size, date, and file name. T parameter is used to sort the list of files by the file update timestamp. R is used to display the file names in reverse order while sorting. We can merge more than one parameters together to combine the required result. For example, to display the long list of files, sort them by update time and then sort them in reverse order, you can use ls-ltr like this. So LTR parameters will display the list of files and folders in long format with file types and then sort the result set by file update timestamp. Finally, it will display the file names in reverse order while sorting. It also displays the permissions on files and folders, which are shown here. Now we will discuss about the file permissions. File system permissions refer to the user access rights to handle any file or directory in a file system. In Unix, Linux operating systems, there are three types of permissions on files and folders. That includes owner, group, and others. Owner refers to the user who owns the file or folder. Group refers to the permissions for any user in the group that the file or directory belongs to. Others refer to the permissions for all the other users who are neither the owner nor the member of the group that the file belongs to. In other words, if you set a permission for the other category, it will affect anyone else by default. For each of these three categories, there are further three different permissions that can be used to control or grant the file or folder permissions. Those are read, write, and execute permissions. Read permission gives the ability to read the file. Write permission gives the ability to write to the file, and execute permission gives the ability to execute of the file as a program. Each of these types of permissions has an octal number associated to it, the number in parentheses after it. Here, read refers to number 4, write refers to number 2, and execute permission refers to number 1. You can use these octal numbers to assign the permissions to files or folders. For example, to make a file both readable and writable, you can use the value as 6, which is a combination of 4 plus 2 that will assign both read and write permission on a file or folder. Here are a few permissions shown on the files and few possible combinations of such permissions using octal numbers. Now we will discuss how to change the file and folder permissions. We use chmod command to change or assign file access permissions in Unix Linux environment. For example, chmod 755 will give all the access permissions that includes read, write, and execute permissions. This is a combination of numbers 4 plus 2 plus 1 that makes it 7. So a combination of all those permissions will be assigned to the owner or user of the file or directory, and then the read and execute permissions to the group members and other users. Here is the syntax of the chmod command. In this syntax, who refers to the user, group, and others, or all three of them, and permissions refer to read, write, or execute permissions. There are two methods of assigning or changing the permissions. Number one is using the numeric mode or the octal system. Using this method, you can use the numeric mode or the octal system to set the permissions. Here's how the octal system works. 4 is equal to read, 2 is equal to write, 1 is equal to execute, and 0 refers to the no permissions at all. Values add up when you combine permissions. Consequently, the total number can go from range 0, that refers to the no permission at all, to up to 7. 7 refers to full permissions. To assign the permissions you want, you add up the numbers accordingly. For example, the read, write, and execute permissions would be 4 plus 2 plus 1 equals to 7. Read and execute would be 4 plus 1 equals to 5, and read and write permissions would be 4 plus 2 equals to 6.
Because you set separate permissions for the owner, group, and others, you will need a 3-digit number representing the permissions of all these groups. For example, if you want to set 755 permissions on a file or folder, we will use the command. So we want to set the permission 755 on this file. Now let's see the difference. Now see the difference. It has assigned full permissions to the users of the file or owner of the file, read and execute permission to group and other users. You can see the difference before and after executing the chmod 755 command. So after issuing the chmod 755 myfile1 command, this will change the myfile1 permissions to these permissions. In this case, the owner would have full read, write, and execute permissions. That is a combination of 4 plus 2 plus 1 equals to 7. And the group would have read and execute permissions. That is a combination of 4 plus 1. And same way, the others would have the read and execute permissions. Let's do a few other examples on the same file and see the difference. This will give full permissions on the file. With 644, the owner can read and write, and other people can only read. In this case, with 741, this will give all access permissions to the owner, only read permissions to the group members, and only execute permission to the other groups. The other mode in which chmod can be used is letters such as U, G, and O, rather than using the number mode or the octal system. Here's how it works. When assigning permissions, you can also use the letters for user, group, and others. Like in this case, user refers by the letter U, represents the owner of the file. G refers to the letter G, represents all the users who are members of the group which the file belongs to. And others refer to the letter O, represents all the users that are neither member of the group nor the owner of the group. Same way, you can use the letters for the read, write, or execute permissions rather than using the octal numbers. So here in this case, for read permission, which is symbolized by the letter R, write permissions symbolized by the letter W, and execute permissions symbolized by the letter X. Here is an example of 755 permissions set on a file. So using this method, 755 would be equivalent to read, write, and execute permissions to the owner, read and execute permissions to the group, and read and execute permissions to the others. So using this method of letters, this command would be equivalent to this syntax. Now we will use few examples of using this method. So for example, we want to add the read permissions to others on a file. So we will use. So in this case, we can see read permission has been added for others. Now, if you want to assign write and execute permissions to group and others, we can use this command. So using this command, we have assigned write and execute permissions to group and others. Same way, if you want to remove the permissions, so for example, if you want to remove the permissions of read, write, and execute from all, then we can use the command. If you want to remove the read, write, and execute permissions from others, we can use the command. So this way, we have used this command chmod o using minus read, write, and execute. It has removed that set of permissions from others. Let's set the permissions back to read permissions only. Now we want to add the read, write, and execute permissions to user, group, and others.
So to do that, we can use the command this command has assigned all the read, write and execute permissions to all user, group and others. Let's set the permissions back to the read permissions. Now we can use the same command to add the permissions with commas like this. So this way, using this command, we have removed read, write and execute permissions from users. We have added read and execute permissions for group, and then read and execute permissions for others. Now we will discuss how to change the ownership of the files and folders. We use chown command to change the user and or group of a file or folder in Linux Unix environment. Here's the syntax of chown command. Let's see how we can use it. So for example, if you want to change the owner and group of this folder Tomcat to root, we can use the command user and group name and folder name. So using this command, the owner and group of this folder has changed from Tomcat to root. Same way, if you want to change the owner and group of this file from root to Tomcat, you can use see the result of this command. It has changed the owner from root to Tomcat for this particular file. In this video, we will learn how to manipulate the files in Linux Unix environment. Following are the commands that we will discuss in this video. Let's get started. We will first start with ls command, that is used to list the files. There are various parameters that you can use with ls command. For example, all parameter is to display the long format, file types, permissions, owner, group, size, date and file name. A parameter is used to list all the files including hidden files. R parameter is used to recursively list subdirectories. T parameter is used to sort the list of files by file update time. H is used to display the file sizes in human readable format like in MBs and GBs. And R parameter is used to display list in reverse order by the file update timestamp while sorting. You can merge more than one parameters together like this to combine the required result. For example, to display the long list of files, sort them by update time and then sort them in reverse order, you can use ls, l, t and r parameters. Same result, when you use h parameter, it will return you the same result, but size should be displayed in human readable format, for example in MBs and RGBs. Next is the touch command. The touch command is used to create an empty file. When we use this command on an existing file or directory, it will change the timestamp of files. For example, to create a new empty file like abc.txt, we can see that new file has been created. This file is an empty, and if we want to change the timestamp of an existing file, then we can use touch. Let's put this name here. Now if we list this file here, we should see the current timestamp of this file. So this file will not change the contents of the file, but it will only change the file create date timestamp. So this command will not change the content of the file, but when we use touch command for an existing file or directory, it will only change the timestamp of the file. Next is the cp command. The cp command is used to copy files and directories. It can be used to copy a single file or directory or multiple files or directories to a different file or directory. The syntax is copy source files to destination file. This is the general syntax. We will see a few examples now. So for example, if you want to copy the contents of this file to a new file called myfile3.txt, we can use this command and the new file name here. So this command will copy myfile2.txt from source file to a new myfile3.txt file. If the new file, which is myfile3 in this case, doesn't exist, it will create the new file. If it already exists, it will get overwritten with myfile2.txt file. Same as previous command, but if you want to display a prompt before replacing the file in case the file already exists, then you can use iParameter. So in this case, if destination file already exists, it will prompt you before overwriting that file. Press yes, and it will get overwritten. Now if you want to copy the contents of a file into a different directory or inside a directory, so for example, if you want to copy this file into this directory, which is an existing directory, we can use the command, put the directory name here. So in this case, this file will get copied into this directory. Let's check this. So we can see that by using this command, myfile3 file has been copied into the Tomcat directory. We can see that myfile3 was copied to this directory with the current timestamp. If you want to preserve the file attributes such as ownership, group ID, permissions, last modified, timestamp, and mode, you can use p-parameter with the copy command. So for example, if we go back to one level up, so for example, if you want to copy this file into the Tomcat directory while preserving all the file attributes, we can use the cp command with p-parameter. Now we can see, using the p-parameter, the file was copied into the destination directory while preserving all the original attributes. Now, if you want to copy a file into the current directory, for example, if you want to copy catenina.out file from Tomcat directory into this directory, so using this command, we can put the directory path here along with the file name, and then at the end we can use the dot. The dot at the end of the cp command refers to the current directory. So in this case, catenina.out file from these directories should be copied into the current directory. Let's see. So that file has been copied. We can see the timestamp also got changed because we did not use the p-parameter. Next is the move command. mv or move command is used to move or rename the files and directories in Linux Unix environment. To rename a file, it is used like this: mv file name 1, which is the source file, to file name 2, which is the destination file name. To move files and directories to a different directory, you can use file name to the destination directory. We will begin with renaming a file. So for example, if you want to rename this file from abc.txt to a new file called xyz.txt, we can use this syntax abc xyz. So this file, we can see it got renamed to xyz.txt. If xyz.txt doesn't exist, then abc.txt is renamed to xyz.txt. If xyz.txt exists, it will get overwritten or replaced with the contents of the abc.txt. Like the cp command, we can use iparameter, which should display a prompt before overwriting an already existing file. So for example, if you reverse this example like this, now we have both files. Now we're using iparameter, so it should display a prompt before overwriting the xyz.txt, which already exists. Okay, if you type yes, it should get overwritten with the contents of abc file. Using the move command, we can also rename a directory. So for example, if you want to rename Tomcat directory to Tomcat new, so it will rename the directory from Tomcat to new, a new name called Tomcat_new directory. Please note, the cp command doesn't carry the file or directory permissions. Permissions are only carried over when move command is used, but not the copy command. Next is the rm command. The rm command removes or deletes files and directories. The general syntax is rm file or directory. It can also be used to delete directories using r parameter to recursively delete all directories. So for example, if you want to remove this file, just use rm with the file name, type yes, and this will remove employee.csv file. Same way, if you want to remove a directory recursively, meaning deleting a directory along with all of its contents and subdirectories, we can use rm r parameter, which stands for recursive delete, and then we can put the directory name here. And if you don't want to show any prompt before deleting the directory or deleting the directory forcibly, then we can use f parameter here, and it will directly delete this Tomcat directory along with all of its subdirectories and contents. So now it has deleted the Tomcat directory. We can see the Tomcat directory is not there anymore. Now we will discuss few other commands, like how to make a directory and how to remove a directory using a different command like rmdir. So in order to make a directory, we use mkdir command. Mkdir command stands for make directory. So for example, in this case, we can create a new directory, Tomcat. So this directory has been created. rmdir command is used to delete a directory which is empty. So when a directory is empty, we can directly use rmdir command. So we can see directory is gone. Now let's recreate the directory. Now let's copy this file into the Tomcat directory. Now that directory is not empty. If we use rmdir command for a directory which is not empty, it will not delete the file. It will show you an error message like directory is not empty. Since rmdir deletes only in an empty directory, if you want to remove a directory with all of its contents, you can use the r option like we used previously, like rm r Tomcat. So in this case, the directory will be removed with all of its contents. So again, if you don't want to see all of these prompt messages, we can use f parameter to forcibly delete that directory as we used previously. In this video, we will learn how to do the text processing or manipulation in Linux Unix environment. Following are the few commands that we will discuss in this video. We will start with cat command. There are many ways to view the contents of text-based or flat files in Linux Unix environment. You can simply use the cat command to display the contents on screen or read the file line by line. You can also use the more command with cat command by adding a pipe symbol at the end of the command to prevent scrolling of the screen while displaying the contents of a file. So for example, if the file is longer than a page, then the command where we are using more command with cat, it will pause after displaying a page at a time. So press scroll bar for the next page. Alternatively, you can directly use the more command, which will display one page at a time. More command is used to view the contents of a text on the terminal screen at a time. The syntax is simple, just use more with the file name. The next is the less command. Less command is another command that is used to view the contents of a text file one screen at a time. It is an alternate of using the cat with more command. However, it has the extended capability of allowing both forward and backward navigation through the file. Unlike most Linux-based text viewers, less doesn't need to read the entire file before starting. Therefore, it has faster load times with large files. So with large input files, it should be faster than text editor like VI. The general syntax of less command is less options and file name. There are various parameters that can be used with less command, but we will have a walkthrough of most important ones. So I is to perform case insensitive searches. M is used to show more detailed prompt, including the file position. Capital N is to show the line numbers. We're using this file as an example. So here we can see less command is showing the line number, then the file position. When viewing the file, we can use the page up and down keys to move through the file. Page down, page up. We can see the file position is changing. And to skip to the end of the file, you can press Shift G. That will take you to the end of the file. Now you can see here the file position, which is 100%. You can also open several files at the same time, so you can navigate from one file to the next without closing the first file. If you want to open several files, just give all the file names at once. So in this case, we want to open up two separate files at once. So now we have two files open. So while viewing several files at the same time, you can just use N for the next file and P : P to go back to the previous file. Another feature of less command is to search for the specific strings. So for example, we want to search through error entries in this file. So we are using I parameter to perform a case insensitive search. So in this case, we want to search all the error entries. So just press / type error and it should show you all the error entries. Press N for the next entry and P for the previous entry. Keep pressing N. Now we can see it is a case insensitive search because we used I parameter. You can press Q to quit from the less command. Just press Q and it will take you back to the prompt. Now we will discuss about find command. The find command is used to locate the files on a Linux Unix system. Find command will search the files in directories as per the supplied search criteria. Without any parameters, it will search for files in the current directory and recursively through its subdirectories that match the supplied search criteria. Here's how we can use the find command and action. This is the general syntax of find command. All arguments to find command are optional. Now we will perform few examples with find command. We will first find files that match a specific pattern. So in order to find files that match a specific pattern, we use name parameter like this. You can also use static, but you should either put an escape character in front of each of them or enclose them in quotes. So for example, to recursively list all the files in current and subfolders based on a wildcard matching, we can use the command find dot name within quotes static in. So we can see this command return all the log files from the current directory and from subdirectory. Please note the dot in this command points to the current directory. If you know the name of the file but do not know which directory contains it, you can use the find command to locate the file. For example, this command will find a file named myfile that is located in the current working directory or any subdirectory. Now we can see there are two files matching with this search criteria under files directory, and one file exists under the current directory. There are a few other parameters that we can use with name option in order to do the search based on the file modified time, that is less than or more than a specific number of minutes. So for example, to find only the files that are modified within last 5 minutes, we can use the command. So in this case, we are going to find all the log files which got modified in last 5 minutes. So we will use mmin command -5. So this will find all the files, log files modified less than 5 minutes ago. Okay, in this case, we don't have any file which got updated in the last 5 minutes. So let's create a sample file here. Let's rerun the command. So in this case, that new file abc.log got captured by this command. Same way, we can find out any files which got modified more than 5 minutes ago. So in order to do that, just replace the minus with a plus sign. Here we can see it has returned a list of all files which got updated more than 5 minutes ago. Same way, we can find out the files modified within specific number of days. So for example, to find out the files modified more than 2 days ago, we can use the command here. Just replace mminute with mtime, replace 5 with 2. So we are trying to find out all the log files which got updated more than 2 days ago. So in this case, it has returned a list of files which got modified more than 2 days ago. Same way, if you want to find out all the files which were modified less than 2 days ago, just replace plus sign with minus. Now in this case, these are the two files which got updated in the last 2 days. We can also find out all the files modified between now and 1 day ago. For example, this command will find all the files modified now and 1 day ago, that is within the past 24 hours. Same way, if you want to find out all the files modified less than 1 day ago, we will use -1. So it's same result, that is within the past 24 hours as previous command. If you want to find out all the log files which got modified between 1 to 5 minutes ago, we can use the command +0 -6. So there are no log files which got modified within past 5 minutes. So let's create a test file here, rerun the command. Okay, so that test log file got captured by this command which got modified in the last 5 minutes. Now we will discuss the use of exec option with find command. We can execute one or more commands with find command for each file it has found using the exec option. The use of exec action with find command takes a command as an argument. The argument should contain curly brackets, which are usually quoted. The command is terminated by a semicolon, which must be quoted or escaped, so the shell should pass it literally to the find command. You also need to specify slash semicolon or a quoted semicolon at the end of the command. We will have a walkthrough of a few examples. We will use find command to find all the large files on a Linux system. So for example, to search for files greater than 20 MB in size, we can use size parameter and plus 20 MB with find command. Same way, if you want to search for files less than a certain size, then you can change the plus to a negative sign. So in this example, we are searching the entire file system. So in this example, we are searching for files which are greater than 2 MB in size. So let's use h parameter here to find out the size. So this file has a size of greater than 2 MB. So let's use the command all files use a size option plus 2 MB. Now what to do when it finds the file? Run this command curly brackets slash and semicolon. Now we can see this command has found out one file which has a size of greater than 2 MB. Same way, if you want to find out the files which have size less than 2 MB, just replace plus with a negative sign. So it will return you all the files which are less than 2 MB in size. You can also add a command to delete the files above 2 MB in size. So for example, in this case, we want to remove all the files which are greater than 2 MB in size. Let's use F. Okay, so this command has deleted the file myfile2 which was greater than 2 MB in size. If we run this command again, now it is not returning that file anymore. Same way, if you want to delete all the files which were modified in the last 2 minutes, so we can use the command. So there are no log files which were modified in the last 2 minutes. Let's create test log file here. Rerun this again. Now we want to delete all the log files which were modified in the past 2 minutes. So add R and F. Now it has deleted that test file which was returned earlier. Let's rerun this command. Now we don't see that file anymore. The X command can be combined with grep command to filter particular files from the search results of the find command. So for example, if we want to use a command that should return all the files updated less than 10 minutes ago, and then search a specific string which is given as an input to the X command, which in turn executes the grep command on the result set produced by the find command. So we can use the command okay. So in this case, we don't see any log files which got updated in the last 10 minutes. So let's touch this file, so it should get the data timestamp. Okay, the time got updated now. Let's rerun that command. Okay, now we can see we have one log file which got updated in the last 10 minutes. Now we want to use the grep command on this result set to find out all the error entries in this log file which was updated in the last 10 minutes. We can see the command has returned only the error entries in the file. We can also add this command at the end to do a count on the error entries. So this is the result set. So this command will return the total number of error entries in the file. There is another option called X arguments that we can use with find command. Let's discuss the difference between exec and X argument options. When we use exec with find command, the command with exec runs on each individual file. It may not be very efficient on a large system since it starts a new process for each file that is found. The alternate solution when considering the performance on large system is to combine find with X argument option. The X argument reads the data from the standard input and executes the commands that are supplied as arguments. For example, we will use two separate commands. So same command we are going to use with X arguments. So for X arguments, you don't need to use exactly same options. We add a pipe symbol in order to use the X argument option. So in this case, in the first command, find will execute ls command on each individual file, while in the second command, the X argument will construct an argument list from the output of the find command and process it to the ls command. So it may be more efficient on a large file system. In this video, we will learn how to use grep command in Linux Unix environment. The grep command is mainly used to search for a specific pattern of text in a file. Grep command is very helpful in searching large log files or text files for a specific text or error message inside the file. The output will only the matching lines. The general syntax is grep text string to search and the file name. Quotes are not mandatory, but it is best to quote the string to prevent misinterpretation. Here are the common options that we can use with grep command. I is to ignore the case, C is to display only the count of the match lines, L is to list file name only if at least one match occurs, N is to display the line number, V option is used where search must not match the specific string, R is to do a recursive search, and E is an extended version of grep command which is used for the regular expressions. We will discuss all these options in this lesson. For example, if we have a large log file, in this case is my file log, where we want to search all the error entries. So we can use the command error and then file name. It will search all the error entries in that log file. Now, if we want to ignore the case, then we can use the I parameter here. So what it will do, it will search all the entries regardless of the case. Now to report the number of times that the pattern has been matched, we can use the C parameter. This will return the total error entries in that log file. So in this case, we have 205 error entries in that log file. We can achieve the same result by using the WCL option. If we remove this C option and add a pipe symbol and then WCL, it will return us the same result. Now let's see how we use the L option. L option is to list the file name only where at least one match occurs. So for example, list us all the log files where we have error entries. So this command will return only the log file name where error entries are found. Now to display the line number where a match string is found, we can use the N parameter. Let's use the previous example. Now in this case, we can see all the error entries are displayed with the file name and the line number inside that file. Other simple examples of the same commands are using one of the imply CSV file. So let's first see the contents of imply CSV file. Now we will run through various examples of grep command using this imply CSV flat file. So let's search all the manager entries in this imply CSV file. Let's use I to ignore the case. Same result. Now let's use the C option. It will give us the count of manager entries in that file. Let's get the same result using the WC option. Same result. Now let's show the line numbers inside that file where manager entries are found. Now we can see the line numbers also displayed. Now let's list the files where manager entries are found in the CSV files. Now in this case, it shows us the employee CSV file contains the manager entry. Now let's see how we can use the V option. To define a criteria where the search must not match the specific string, so to filter out the specific string, so for example, if we want to filter out the manager entries and display the entire file except the records which match the search criteria as manager, we can use the command grep v I manager. So this command should return us the result set which should not include manager entries. Now we can see the difference here. It doesn't have the records where manager entries are found. Let's extend this example to an alternate string. Let's add analyst in this example. Now we can see we have manager in this result set, but analyst in string got filtered out in this result set. Now let's see how do we do the recursive search. To do a recursive search, we can use the R option. For example, to search all the files where a match of analyst string is found, we can use the command using R option. So in this case, we can see it found two files where the match is found, one in the current directory and another in a subdirectory. Now we will discuss about the egrep. We can use the egrep command same as grep for the pattern searching, but it offers extended capabilities. For example, it allows you to search for multiple patterns in a single command where you can merge two different search criteria using one egrep command. When using egrep, you can add multiple patterns using the pipe symbol. The pipe symbol is used as an OR operator. For example, to search two patterns like manager and analyst, we can use the command like this. Add a pipe symbol, which indicates an OR operator here. Now in this case, we can see we can pass on two different search strings in the same command using the egrep. Note that egrep is essentially the same as running grep with the E option. E parameter switches the grep command into a special mode so that the expression is evaluated as an extended regular expression as opposed to its normal pattern matching. For example, we can use the previous command using regular grep while adding the E parameter to achieve the same result. Let's use previous command, removing the E. Now we are using grep command using the E option, which should return us the same result as previous command. So we can see it's same result as previous command. Now same as previous grep command, while using egrep, we can also add other parameters, like for example, to show the line number of each pattern found in the file, we can use N option with the egrep command. Let's use the previous example here. Here we can see it shows the line number of each record in the file. Same as previously discussed, we can use the C parameter to count the entries. So in this case, it returned us 5 records which are matching both manager and analyst string. Let's do the same example in a different way using WCL option, same result. Now let's discuss like how you can display only the column that you're looking for. So for example, in this case, it's column number 3 that you want to display. So let's add a cut command in the egrep command like this. D is to define the delimiter, which is comma in this case. F is for field number, which is 3 in this case. Now we can see it shows us only the column number 3, which is the title of employee in this case. Grep command often used with pipes. So you can use other commands and then add grep using the pipe symbols. Now let's discuss how we can use grep command with other commands using the redirection. So grep command often used with pipes. So you can use other commands and then add grep using the pipe symbol. For example, using the cat command to display the contents of a file and then redirect the output to grep using the pipe symbol to get only the required information, you can use the command like this. Let's repeat this command and then you add the grep command. Here note you are using a pipe symbol, which is a redirection symbol in Linux. Use exactly the same command, grep command, as previously used. Now we can see we used the cat command, but we added the grep command using the redirection symbol. This is how you can use grep command with any other commands. So this command is exactly same as using the grep command without redirection. We can see the same result. Let's see another example of using the egrep with other commands using the redirection. So here we can see that we can use both grep and egrep with the other commands using the redirection symbol. In this video, we will learn how to use the cut command in Linux Unix environment. The cut command in Linux Unix is used to select sections of text from each line of files. You can use the cut command to select fields or columns from a line by specifying a delimiter, or you can select a portion of text by specifying the range or characters. Basically, the cut command slices the line and extracts the text. So if you want to select column of characters, so for example, to extract only a desired column, let's first cat the imply CSV file. So in this case, if you want to extract only a desired column from file, you can use the C option. To achieve this, we can use the command that will display first character from each line of a file. Here we can see the original result set and then the result set using the cut command, where it shows only the first character from each line of a file. We can also display the range of characters from a file by specifying start and end position delimited with a hyphen. For example, if you want to extract first to 5 characters of each line from a text file, which is imply CSV in this case, so we can use the command -c 1 to 5 imply CSV. Now we can see it shows us the characters 1 to 5 from each line of the text file. We can also either pass the start position or end position to cut command with C option. For example, if you specify only the start position before the hyphen and leave it blank after the hyphen, then it will display from 5th character to end of each line from imply CSV file. So if you just add hyphen at the end, it will display 5th character to end of each line from imply CSV file. So here in the output, we can see it displays from 5th character to the end of each line from the required file. Now let's see how to select a specific field from a file. So instead of selecting specific number of characters, if you want to extract a whole field, you can combine option D and F. The D specifies what is the field delimiter that is used in the input file, and the option F specifies which field you want to extract. So for example, if you want to display only first field of each lines from imply CSV file using the field delimiter, which is comma in this case, so you can use the command, put the comma as delimiter, field is 1. Here it shows us only the first field from each line of the file. Now to display only first 2 columns or specific columns, we can use the command, just add a range of fields here, so it will show field 1 and 2. Now if you want to add another field here, just add that after the comma, 5. Now we can see we have imply number, imply name, and date of hire. So 3 fields in this case. And if you want to return only the first 10 records, just add a redirection symbol, head -10. Here you can see you have only first 10 records in this result set. that you can achieve using the head option. Now let's use the same command with a different example using the grep command. So in this example, we want to extract more than one field from a file or standard out. So here's the example. Let's first use the grep command. From this result set, we want to display only fields 1 and 6. So we can achieve this by adding the cut command at the end, add the pipe symbol, use the cut command. So in this case, the delimiter is a colon. So we will add colon here, fields 1, comma 6. Okay, now we can see it shows us only the fields 1 and 6. We can use the same command to display the range of fields. So for example, we can display the fields 1 through 3, 6 and 7. So in this case, it shows us only the specific fields. Now if you want to select all the fields except a specific field, we can use the complement option. Let's clear this. So for example, if you want to display all the fields from etc password file except the field 7, use the command. This is the result set. Let's add the cut command, delimiter colon. Now we will add complement option and indicate that field 7 should not be displayed. So all fields except field 7 should be displayed in the result set. Now see the difference, the last field is not appearing in the result set. Now sometime if you want to display a different delimiter in the output result, so how do we achieve that? So by default, the output delimiter is the same as input delimiter. So for example, you can see the input delimiter is a colon and the output delimiter is the same colon. That is by default. So if you want to change the output delimiter, we can use the option output delimiter. So for example, the input delimiter is colon in this case, but the output parameter we want to pass it on as a hash or a comma. So let's see how we can do that. Let's use the previous command. Let's add an option output. We want to use the number sign as a delimiter in this case. Now see the difference. The delimiter has been changed from colon to a number sign. Now let's use a comma as a delimiter. Okay, we can see the delimiter has been changed with a comma. We can also use this command like in this way. Remove the complement option and put a range of fields here, 1 through 7. Now if there is a requirement to change the output delimiter to a new line, so each and every field of the cut command output is displayed in a separate line. So we can still use the output delimiter to achieve this, but the value would be a $ and /n, which indicates that we should add the new line as the output delimiter. Let's see how we can do that. Add a $, single quote, /n, and close the quote. Let's see. So we can see every field in the file is showing as a separate line. Now let's see how do we combine cut and grep commands and then remove the duplicates and also sort the result set. So you can use the cut and grep command with sort and unique commands to find and remove duplicate entries in a file. So for example, we have this file. You can see here the third column, which is the title, has some duplicates in it. So let's see how we can remove the duplicates in the result set. Add the cut command. Delimiter would be a comma, the field number, sort the result set in order, use the unique option, and then see. Let's see the result. We can see it shows us we have 2 LS entries, 4 clerk entries, 3 managers, and so on. Let's sort the result set in reverse order. So use NR option with the sort. See the difference? The result got sorted out in reverse order. Remove the R and see the difference. That's all about the cut command. In this video, we will learn how to use awk command in Linux/Unix environment. AWK or awk is a text processing utility in Linux. You can use it to show certain columns or certain rows from a text file, search for certain string or pattern. Awk is mostly used for pattern scanning and processing. It scans a file line by line and produces formatted reports. It searches one or more files to see if they contain lines that match the specified patterns and then perform the associated actions. Awk is mostly used for processing the text-based and even numeric data, either in files or data streams. Here is the basic command usage where it will print the whole contents of a flat file. So for example, we have this file. Let's see how we can use the awk command. Let's use the print command without any parameter. So print with no options mean print the whole line, and $0 means print same thing, print the whole line. So omitting $0 gives the same result. $1 refers to the very first field, and $0 displays the whole file, just like cutting the file. If the file has a comma as a field separator, then you can use the f parameter and comma as a field separator like this. Now we can see the field separator comma, we can display the first column of the file. In its simplest usage, awk is meant for processing column-oriented text data, such as tables. The variables $1, 2, and so forth are the contents of the file first and second columns, and so on. For example, to print the first and second columns of a file which is comma separated, you might use the command like this. Let's add second column here. In this case, you can use a comma, a colon, or a pipe symbol as the input field separator. Add a comma as a field separator. Now see the difference between previous and this command, where we have comma as a field separator. Let's use a different field separator here. See the result. And so in this case, F option defines your field separator, which is a comma inside the file, while the comma or a pipe or colon symbol within double quotes inserts a customized delimiter in the output result. If you want to send the output to the sort command using the shell pipe, let's see how we can do that. Let's sort the result set on field number 3. Let's use the same command without sorting. Now you can see the result. See the difference. Let's put the unique option. Now see the result. Let's add C to count the result set. See the difference. Sometimes you have a header in a file that you want to intact without getting sorted out, the column header especially. So let's see how we can do that. For example, we have a file where we have the column headers like this. Let's see how we can keep the column headers intact without sorting them out. Let's use the previous command. So to achieve this, we will use -nrk9 option. Let's see the result. here we can see the title of the column is on the top of the column. Let's see the original result set. So without using NRK9 option, you can see the title of the column is not at the right place. Now see the result. So this is how you can keep the column header intact without sorting that out in the result set. In this video, we will learn how to use SED or SID command in Linux Unix environment. SID command is used to filter and modify the text. SID is a stream editor used for modifying the files in Linux Unix environment. SID command is mostly used to replace the text in a file. For example, if you want to change all the occurrences of manager with director, we can do this. Let's first see the contents of the file. Now in this file, we want to replace all the manager entries with director. We can see in the result set, all the manager entries got replaced with director. So in this command, the / is being used as a delimiter. So after running this command, the actual file did not get updated. The SID command only showed the updated output of the file. If you want to redirect the updated output to a different file, then we can use the redirect symbol, which is the greater than sign, to redirect the output to a new file. Let's redirect the output to implied to CSV. Let's cat that file. While original file, let's see the original file. There is no update in the original file. To delete a particular line inside the file, we can use the D option. Like for example, in this case, we want to delete the second line from this file. Now we can see the second line is not appearing in the result set. To delete a range of lines, we can use the syntax like this. Here, M and N are minimum and maximum line numbers. The SID command removes the lines from M to N in the file. For example, if you want to delete the lines ranging from 2 to 4, let's see. Let's first get the line numbers. Now we want to delete the lines from 2 to 4. Now see the difference. Now we can see lines 2 to 4 got removed in the result set. Now in the result set, we can see the line number 1 and then starting from line number 5. Now if you want to delete lines other than the specified range, we can use the command like previous command. Like in this case, just add an exclamation sign. Now we can see all other lines got deleted in the result set while keeping only the lines from 2 to 4. Now if you have an empty line in a file, let's see how we can remove that line. Let's first add a line in the file. Let's add 2 lines in this file. Now we have 2 empty lines in this file. Let's see how we can remove those empty lines. So in order to do that, we can use a command like /, comma, and then file name. Now we can see all those extra lines got removed in the result set. So same way, this command will not update the original file. It will only give us the result set. We can redirect the result set to a new file. Now let's see the difference. So this is how we can remove all the empty lines from a file.
Sometimes you have a requirement to delete the lines that end with a specified character. For example, to delete the records that end with the department number 40, we can use the command add the department number here, add the $/D, close the quotes. Now in the result set, we can see we don't have the records that end with department number 40. So we had two records that had department number 40 in it. So in this command, the $sign is to indicate the end of the line. And so this is how we will delete all the lines that end with the department number 40. Same as previous example, if you want to delete all the lines containing the clerk string, so pretty much the same syntax, just add clerk string G. Now we can see the result set. It has excluded the clerk's entries in the result set. So this is how we can delete the lines that contain a specific string. In this video, we will learn how to use head, tail, sort, and diff commands in Linux Unix environment for text processing, manipulate text information, as well as handle the log files using head and tail utility. Following are the commands that we will discuss in this video. We will start with head utility. Head command displays the beginning of a file. By default, the head utility displays the first 10 lines of a file. The general syntax is head option or arguments and with a file name. Arguments are not mandatory. You can run the command with or without the options or arguments. For example, to display the first 10 lines of a file, we can use the command. So this command will display the first 10 lines of employee CSV file. Since employee CSV file doesn't have more than 10 lines, so it will display the whole file. We can see the line numbers. So this file has only 7 lines in it. But in case if you have a larger file that has more than 10 lines, so you can use head command, which will display only the first 10 lines of that file. Let's see another example. Let's display this file, which is a large file. Now using the head command, this command will display only the first 10 lines of messages file. As we just discussed, by default the head command will display the first 10 lines of a file, but we can also pass on the number of lines as a parameter to display from top of the file. For example, to display only first 3 lines of a file, we can use -3 file name. So this will display only first 3 lines from the top of the file. Head -3 command is useful when you have larger file that contains header of the files, like say for example flat or CSV or pipe files, where you have the header of the file and you want to display only the header. So you can use head -3 and file name that will display only the header of the file. If you want to display the file name, you can use -v, which stands for verbose. So V option will display the file name on the top. We can also use head with other commands like cat command and add head with a pipe symbol to redirect the output of cat to head command as an input. Say for example, we want to pass on the output of cat command as an input to the head command to display only the first 10 lines of the file. That we can use using a pipe symbol, which will redirect the output of one command as an input to the other command. So we can see the cat command is passing the output to the head command as an input using the pipe symbol. Another example is to display only the most recent updated 10 files. So if we add head at the end of ls command, it will display only the last 10 files which were most recently updated. Next, we will discuss the tail command. The tail utility is similar to head utility, but by default it displays the last 10 lines of a file. This utility can also display fewer or more than 10 lines. You can also monitor lines as they are added to the end of the growing file or being updated of a log file. This is a very helpful utility if you want to monitor logs as they are being updated, or to monitor a process which is generating logs in the backend, and you want to monitor the logs or progress of a process. General syntax is tail, option, and file name. For example, this command will display the last 10 lines of messages file. So we can see this command displayed only the last 10 lines of messages file. To view the logs while they are being updated, we can use -f parameter. Say for example, messages file is a log file and it is getting updated, and we want to see the progress as the logs are updated. So we will use -f parameter. Since this file is not getting updated, so it is not showing any progress. To see an example of a file while it's being updated, we have an example of a counter. This is a sample counter script which adds up a number with an interval of 1 second. So let's see how it works. So we're going to run this script, and then we will send the output to a temp file, and we will monitor this temp file in another session. Now we can see this file displays the progress as it is getting updated. So as mentioned before, by default it will display only the last 10 files, but if you want to add the number of lines to display, we can use n parameter hyphen the number of lines to display. So in this case it will display the last 100 lines while they are being updated. Next topic is to discuss the sort utility. The sort utility displays the contents of a file in an order by lines without changing the original file. The sort utility is useful in putting the list in order. You can use various parameters to manipulate the output of sort command. For example, the n option puts a list of numbers in numerical order. The u option generates a sorted list in which each line is unique. The output is sorted based on two ways. Numeric lines are arranged in ascending order 1 to 10. Letters are sorted in ascending alphabetical order like A to Z. You can also redirect the output of sort command to write unsorted input data to a file directly in sorted manner using greater than sign. Here's how this can be done. Let's get the imply CSV file, and now let's sort this file, which will be sorted based on the imply number. Now if you want to redirect the result of sort command to another file, you can use greater than sign like ecsv. There will be no change in the original file, but if you see the ecsv, it will contain the sorted result set. You can also use the cat command with the sort command, like say for example, now you can add the pipe symbol and add the sort command. The result set will be exactly same as we just saw before using the sort command. Now let's see how we can display specific fields or columns. So to display second, third, and fourth columns or fields, we can use cut command. Add a pipe symbol, cut -d. D is to pass the delimiter, which is comma in this case. Now put the field numbers -f, second, third, and fourth field. This is the original result set. Now let's use this command with the sort command. See the output. The result is sorted based on the implied name. Now if you want to display the result set based on third and fourth fields. We can see the title is in ascending order like A to Z. If you want to remove the duplicates from the result set, as we discussed before, you can use -u or unique keyword. So say for example we want to remove the duplicates from this result set. We can use -u at the end with sort command, which will remove the duplicates, or we can use unique after using the pipe. So the result set will be same. There are few parameters that you can use with the sort command, like n parameter is to sort a file numerically, r option is to sort in reverse order, and k option is used to sort on the basis of any column number. By default, sort compares the entire line's contents and decides how to sort it. Using k option, you can apply sort on a certain column. Please note that by default, sort separates fields in a line using white spaces, also called spaces or tabs, as field delimiters. Sort cannot handle the situation where fields contain the separator like comma in this case. However, if we have the file without any separator, then we can use the k option like this. This file doesn't have a parameter, unlike imply CSV, which had comma as a delimiter. So let's see how it sorts the results. So we want to sort the result based on the imply name, the second field. Add sort -k and put that field number here. Now we see the result set is sorted based on the imply name. Now let's go back to the imply file, which has comma as a field separator. You can still manage to sort a file with a field separator using the command like this: add field separator, which is comma in this case. Now we can see we can still manage to sort the result using the keyword field separator based on specific field of a file which has a specific delimiter. Please note, this is an old-fashioned and may not work in newer systems. Alternatively, you can use t parameter to change the field delimiter to a different character. For example, to change the delimiter to a comma and sort the file based on second field, we can use -t. The result set will be same. So the t parameter is equal to the field separator. As previously mentioned, the field separator keyword may not work in the newer systems. So alternatively, you can use -t option. This can be used in both ways, like this way. The result would be same. Let's put the third field. Now we can see the result got sorted based on the third field. Throughout these examples, we have been using the pipe symbol. So please note, pipe symbol is to communicate between processes. In Linux, Unix operating systems, a pipe is a technique for passing information from one program or process to another. The output or result of the first command sequence is used as the input to the second command sequence. With pipes, the standard output of one command is fed into the standard input of another. As an example, the output of the ls command is fed into more. By using this more trick, you can make any command have scrolling output. For example, if we do the lsl, we have a big list of output. If you want to just add more using the pipe symbol, where you will have the output of ls command as an input to the other command, which is more in this case, so the result set will be displayed one screen at a time. Press space bar to scroll to the next screen. Other examples of commands used together with pipes are, like, for example, say we can use head command, where we will have only first 10 lines of the output of ls command. There are other examples, like say for example we want to see the disk usage of this current directory. Now we can add sort command using the pipe symbol. Let's add -n parameter to display the list of directories and how much space they are consuming, and to sort from smallest to largest. Okay, we can add more here. Now we can see we have restricted the output to one screen using more parameter, and then we are displaying the result set based on smallest to largest file. Let's add R parameter here, which will display the list of files and directories from largest to smallest. Now we can see the result set contains the directories with their consumption from largest to smallest. You can insert a pipe character between any two commands if the first command writes the output to the standard output and the second command reads the input from the standard input. For example, to return the users currently logged into your Linux or Unix operating system, you can use who command that returns the standard output that can be passed on to the WCL as the standard input. Let's see how do we use this. So this is an example of command that tells you the users currently logged into your system. Let's add WC command, which stands for word count. WC stands for word count. In Linux Unix, it is mainly used for file or record counting purpose. Let's see another example. So by default, WC command calculates a file's word, line, character, byte count and displays the result in 4-columnar output. First column shows number of lines present in a file that we can see in here. Second column shows number of words in the file. Third column shows number of characters in the file, and fourth column is the file name, which is given as an argument. You can use the -l parameter with WC command. This option prints the number of lines present in a file. With this option, WC command displays 2-columnar output. First column shows number of lines present in a file, and second column represents the file name. Next is the diff utility. The diff stands for difference utility, compares two files line by line and displays a list of differences between them. This utility doesn't change either file. It is useful when you want to compare two versions of files or two versions of source code in a program. The general syntax is diff file1 and file2. Let's see how it works. So let's first see the file's contents. We can see there are some differences, like on line number 3 we have a different employee name in here in this file, like here, and we have one additional record in the second file. Let's see how diff command displays all these differences. Now we can see the output of diff command is indicating some numbers and special characters here. So diff command uses certain special symbols and instructions that are required to make two files identical. These symbols are A for add, C for change, and D for delete. In this example, 3C3 means line 3 in the first file needs to be changed to match the line 3 in the second file. The last entry here, 7A8, means after line 7 in the first file, a line needs to be added, which is line 8 from the second file. Thanks for watching this video.